there, everybody. My name is Kate. Welcome to my channel, Trinity Awakens Naturally. Yeah, rolling. So today, let's talk about pigs and demons and bacon when it's all over. What came up for me this morning was a beautiful illustration of why it's really okay that humans let go of that whole I need to exact revenge and get my justice and I'm gonna go all Libra monster on this and make shit happen. When we allow people to do their own thing without the danger, literally our life is not on the line. When we have that going on, that's a different story. I'm not talking about immediate threat to life. I'm talking about people are just being cruel, they're being stupid, they're thieving, they're lying, they're felonious, they're murderous in their spiritual assassin work and that kind of stuff. Really digging deep, possibly going into black magic or black intention, dark intention. Not a cultural thing at all. It's definitely a vibrational thing. It's the lowest vibrational stuff we can deal with is people that are jealous, they're mean, they're nasty, they're hateful, they've been, really deeply hurt and just not going to do the work to figure that out. They're going to continue to push their trauma and their really unresolved baggage off on as many other people as they possibly can, just enjoying the high of diverting their own attention again and again, and exerting and squirting and getting a little power trip. It's not working as well these days. So anyway, the story goes, and I'm not a Bible scholar, this is just get the basic concept, and I'm not looking to debate the Jesus Christ and how he was tempted and did this or did that. I'm really not. This is an isolated story, metaphysics, metaphor, and let's go from there. But Jesus was came along, brought to, made aware of, I don't know how he ended up there, but there were men that were very violent and ugly, and they were not allowing people to pass to go to temple, and that's a no-no. For Jesus' sake, that he figured, yeah, you're not going to keep people from their holy. You will not keep people from their sacred. You will not keep people from reaching their divinity and worshiping that source of goodness appropriately, and I don't. So anyway, however it is that he came upon these men, they were possessed by demons. They were possessed by lower attributes of human behavior. However you identify that, if it's demon, if it's wicked, if it's being possessed by the devil, if it's low vibe, however you understand that really doesn't matter, because it's all the same story, just different flavors of the same ice cream kind of thing. So what you call it really doesn't matter. So anyway, they have been, for purposes of the biblical understanding, they've been possessed by demons, and they're very ugly and obviously demonic, and they're preventing people from worship. They're preventing people from meeting their own personal spiritual sovereignty. And Jesus, they know they're going to be rebuked. They know they have their final day of judgment. They know that, we're going to be caught. They were expecting him. And again, this does not tie into any of the biblical story itself about Judgment Day and all of that. That's just, they knew that we can't keep being wrong for this long and not have it catch up eventually. They knew about karma. They understood on some level, right? So they turn to Jesus and say, look, cast us into that herd of pigs over there, because they knew that, yeah, we're going to have to pay for all that demon stuff and demon time. We're going to have to pay that back, or somehow resolve that debt, and he's here to do that. So they asked, may you please cast us into those pigs over there? And he went, okay, and did so. He allowed them to choose. Oh, you're willing to not block the entryway anymore? You're willing to go over there with it? Okay, then why would Jesus not allow them to do that? That is rebuking the darkness in us and saying, no, I'm not really interested in that. I rebuke that. I refuse that. Dark magic, or someone's nasty behavior or whatever, that no, that's rebuking and pulling a Jesus where we say, yeah, okay, go on over there into wherever it is that you fit better. However, it's not right here blocking me or anyone else from their divinity or their worship of their sacred. Move on now, Piggie Pie. So he cast them in there, and what happened is that the demons drove the pigs over the cliff, the whole herd of like 2,000 of them. You know, what's your name? It's no longer Legion, it's goodbye, you know, and bacon if you fry. I mean, it sounds kind of gross, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so flippant, but you get the idea is that they asked for that. Jesus did not have to go ghetto, he did not have to go commando, he did not have to do anything except allow them to toil around in their own fear of what Judgment Day was going to look like and was looking like to their mind. He really wasn't there to do that exactly. However, they were willing to move off of where they were causing a problem. Then okay, it was them that decided, and all he had to do was allow that, give the allowance of okay, and they took themselves out. I watched this in a legal process a few years ago. Blew my mind with the person that pulled this maneuver, because that person, usually the favorite word was strategy. This person's strategy turned into something so blind and so just chaotic and very demonic-ish that he actually screwed himself in the legal process, you know, and I did not step in anywhere that there was something going over the line of, that's felon stuff right there, isn't that? Well, it wasn't going anywhere, and I just kept getting the message of get out. Just let this happen, however it happens, because it's driving 2,001 pigs over the cliff when this finally goes over, that they'll choose their own demise. People, when you leave them alone in truth, of I'm not engaging it, they don't have a choice. When we do not come to someone with a confrontation, they really don't have any place to go with it except to be just blindly beating up an innocent person or creating war in places where, oh, we have to defend ourselves, but you understand that all those pigs, plus any that participated in the past and, you know, gathered even more, all of them are going over. So it really serves better when we get out of that Justice Department and believing that we can do a better job than the karma balancing corrective action of the universe. And it's not some personal, you know, like I was hurt as my person and shocked and dismayed and disappointed and mostly just in grief about, ew, I had no idea that these people were that ew, you know, just creepy. It was disappointing. However, it still cannot change and did not change any bit of the action that I was really allowed to take. What I was allowed to take was defensive when it was necessary, and only when it was really just to the point of life or limb. And otherwise, I was given direct movement of nothing, just sit still and allow that. And within a couple of weeks of some major move where I was sputtering, spitting, and going, this isn't fair, you know, I'm broke, I'm homeless, what is going on, this isn't fair. And in one of those major turning points right there where some shady stuff happened, and group gathering of shady, within about a week or two, that person that had such great strategy screwed himself right out of about $20,000, you know. And I didn't know about it until I got a nasty gram that said, you have to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I prayed on it and I said, you know, I know you asked me not to make any movement and you asked me not to say anything or do anything. You know, can you bring me up to speed on where we are with this mess now? Because this is just stupid. I can't believe that just happened. And I was told leave it alone. And so I did. And there was legally, like earth legal, yeah, which is well below cosmic legal, but by earth legal standards, I was not responsible for that person's $20,000 or $30,000 botch. That's yours now, that you took on the debt of all of that, plus all of the debt of the demonic type stuff that was being cooked up in the background for the whole entire effort. But if we allow people to, you know, Piggie Pie and Fry, like, I don't like to watch it, and I certainly felt sick to my stomach and made me grieve, as I said, a great deal for, damn, you're committed to not healing, damn, you're committed to not doing the right thing and acting honorably, you know, damn, you're committed to really just changing my view of human beings in general. What the hell? I mean, I was so upset, but I knew, and I still do, that people do, you know, creepy stuff, and we don't always know people the way that we think we do. At least that was my experience. I didn't know anybody like I thought I did, because I didn't know myself, and I was, whoops, going through the filter of trying to understand other people through my understanding of me, and it was wrong. So it was wrong on every front, and I was not seeing, I was not aware of and conscious of all of those steps that were being made that, ew. Yeah, before that all had to turn into something a whole lot more dramatic, but as it did, that was my favorite part of that whole thing, was being on the other side of the terror of going, what is that? I'm being threatened more? I don't understand this. And that beautiful reassurance of, let it go. Because if you have faith, oh little one, oh ye of tiny faith right at the moment, get your mustard seed and get busy and start rebuking that stuff and say, you know, whatever, without opening my mouth to anybody in particular. That was out loud in the presence of God in my house, you know, that was it, of, I'm done, I'm tired of being threatened, I'm tired of being afraid, I am bored with this whole bullshit thing, you know, can you help me out? It was gorgeous. 11:22, thank you. It was gorgeous, it was freaky, it was nauseating, it was lots of sleepless nights when it was that, but it came up for me this morning that when we allow people to bring their own justice to themselves, they get a more complete karmic return than we can do when we're acting independent and doing our own thing. We do not have the sovereignty to create someone else's non-sovereignty. That's not what New Age understanding is. That is not what bringing forward arcane knowledge or gnosis or hermeticism or the revival of that which is a more serviceable plan for the earth. There's nothing about any of that that has to be the way that it's being portrayed here or the way that people are behaving. It is a matter of that we understand on a whole new level that New Age means we're changing. And there's enough people awake and alive right now that understand that those that are still in confusion, like, it's okay. You know, I'm not, you know, real into solipsism, but if other people are, that's something they have to work through. It's just that you can't work through it and murder, you know, other people, mind murder them or spiritually assassinate them and have that really be something that's going to have a long time before it smacks you right in the face. It's just not happening that way anymore. And anywhere where we've been, you know, screwing it sideways, deliberately doing so, oh, we will pay for those. And those aren't threats. I'm not saying that the devil's going to get you or God's going to get you. I'm saying that the balancing act is that you constructed mathematical equations that every time you're sending rockets up or attempting to, you're exploding them. I would say that's your karma. 1313. I don't have to do anything except observe it, because if I'm observing that someone is over there and your math is wrong, I've watched you blow stuff up and you haven't changed one thing in your formula there, not a one. What do I need to do other than rebuke it by saying, yeah, I'm done with the dumb stuff and I'm over here, because I'm learning a better way to not explode all my stuff off the pad and waste my resources. So I'm gonna allow you to be cast wherever it is that you're cast whenever I say no thanks and move it on. And I don't get into that whole thing about where I'm going to cast people or do stuff. No, my stuff is mine. That's all I deal with, unless I'm given very specific direction about how to do it. But mostly it's just, nah, just move that off. I rebuke it by, no, I don't give that any time on deck. No, don't even land. Don't even attempt. There's no point, because it won't survive. The pigs went screaming off the edge of the cliff because the vibration, if you will, was so unclean and dirty that they couldn't sustain life anymore, and they committed suicide, essentially. It's very dramatic sounding, except that that's really on an energetic level. What you see happening is large groups of people or large parts of people's psyches are just going right over the edge, squealing and frying and smelling like bacon. I mean, it's quite awful in some places, and And yet, here's where it can sound really, that it's a good thing, ultimately, that people are pushed not to actual suicide, not to actual murder. I'm not saying that. I do not like to see any of that. But when people are pushed to that point of absolutely just sit down and stop this abuse, no way, this will not happen anymore, it will force them to change something in what they're doing. And they can always change and choose for the better. Doesn't mean they don't have a bill to pay, and it doesn't mean that they're going to have enough time on deck left to get a whole lot of ascension work before they actually trade in their body for something else in another place, or rotate to come back, or however that all works. I'm really more interested in people that you're done, trying to blow up stuff over here, or done with blowing up stuff at your own house, just being unconscious and unaware. We really don't have time anymore I don't have time anymore, and there's many light workers. I don't think any light worker has time anymore to be babysitting those kinds of situations, because that's not the new age, that's not the new paradigm, that's not the shift, that's not the new understanding, that's not the age of Aquarius. The age of Aquarius and the new age is about absolute personal, spiritual sovereignty, where we choose how to do our work, and we choose it at the highest level possible. Jesus didn't have to do a whole lot except allow people to choose their own fate. And when he was asked to do something different, he did. However, it's never done. It was never done, and it never is done properly. In the new age, it's not ever done with a vengeance or a retribution. That's a Bible thing, and it's okay that people believe that if they want to. I'm not swallowing that pill, because that does not work consistently with what Jesus said, which is love everyone as you love yourself. Well, if you hate yourself, you're going to do exactly what he suggested. So, the upscale version now is that, Jesus taught us that love everyone. Love everyone equally. Love everyone like your brother. And, maybe look at, if you hate your brother, why? If you hate your sister, why? What is that? That's a self thing. And he did talk about that we are responsible for that in many of the stories. All of the stories, he was saying the same thing. The rest of the Bible, however, interprets it differently, and that turns into a lot of, 1717, 8:8, turns into a whole lot of interpretation argument. And really, I'm interested in skipping all of the debate and all of the stuff that I just consider that bullshit hot topic stuff that I really don't care. I just want the kernel of information that's going to elevate my understanding there. It's going to send my consciousness right there of, okay, and I can relieve some sense of ew about it. And the more ew I can relieve about stuff, then the better. That's what I'm after. And everywhere that I can shift and change and open my mind and accept some new information, that is an ascension of some kind. And the more I do that and stay in that awareness that this is a loving move that we're making here, and it doesn't look very loving. However, it's still important for me to stay completely connected to that loving frequency, 1808, even though it may look a little nasty, allowing people to do their own thing. Jesus did not do anything except answer the call of what the demons asked, which was to seal their own fate. So moving out of, human helping the justice, we don't do that well. We've already demonstrated that we don't do that well at all. And I watched it just my whole life, but the last 5 years, man, I watched people screw themselves into corners going, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And I could hear, it was the weirdest thing ever. This is my introduction into, the clairvoyant skills that I didn't really know I had, or that's what they were, was that something happened and I heard boom, these loud, huge explosions, like 3 or 4 of them, every time a major move was made, and I didn't even know what they were. I found out, of course, but I heard those and I went, oh my God, that in about 3 or 4 years, that is going to be awful. And that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And for, a couple of years, it's just been rocking and rolling that I hear stuff. And I don't have any verification because I don't go, check out and see if people are suffering. That's disgusting to me. I don't want to know. I want to know that I'm doing my work, and that if pigs and demons went over the side, that it was not because I pushed them over, it wasn't because I guilt tripped them, or that I somehow worked my wiles to connive, you know, them over, or that I tempted them or anything like that, other than I stood there and said, how may I serve this situation? Always to, okay, then allow that to happen. And it does. And it keeps me with plausible deniability. It keeps me with absolute no, I've got nothing to do with this situation, other than that I happen to be in the vicinity and I moved on. So there you go. I hope that's helpful for you, and I hope that you're enjoying your day, whatever part of the day you're in. And remember, get within your skin, friends, because you're divine. It is so, 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 so fine. Take care of your beautiful selves. I will see you again next time. Goodbye, friends.